The only thing you really need to track is a singular poll's movement over time. And we are seeing a minor decline. That is likely due to 401ks dropping, people being concerned about this. Does this rise to the level of impeachment? No. I think you're doing this largely because you want to get your name out there, because the Democrats have no front runner. No one knows who's in charge of the party. So everyone's clawing to the top of the crabs in a barrel to try and be the pick me for 2028.
All right, Congressman. Congressman, you're just doing this because you're a narcissist, basically.
Imagine Donald Trump's surprise when he hears that he's being impeached again in only the first 100 days of his presidency. Shri Thanedar, he has launched an impeachment against Donald Trump for fake reasons. And I had the privilege of joining Piers Morgan the other day and talking to this man, and it was like nails on a chalkboard. Now, I will admit, snazzy toupee, good sir, unless it's actually your hair, I doubt it. But this guy was arguing that Donald Trump deported American citizens and his approval rating is so low that he should be impeached. And I'm just sitting there like, none of this is impeachable. None of it is. It was so laughably embarrassing for this guy that even Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks was like, what are you doing? You're not going to get any Republicans to back you on this. This is nonsense. And, you know, I think Piers said, I want to ask Tim, you know, what he thinks, because I'm sitting here listening to this guy bloviate and say nonsense. And bloviate was the word of the show, by the way. And I'm like rolling my eyes and my head's flailing back and forth because I'm like, I cannot listen to this Democrat stupidity, these lies. Let me say it again for anybody who missed it. Shri Thanedar is only doing this because there's no Democrat frontrunner and it's a free-for-all. Basically, you had a bunch of crabs in a bucket trying to claw their way to the top. And this guy's like, now's my chance. I'm going to file to impeach Trump because he's got a low approval rating. Well, Rasmussen just put out a new approval rating and he's back up. So if you want to know, and I mentioned this on Piers Morgan show, if you want to know where Trump currently stands with the American public, these polls ain't going to do it for you. And of course, you know, we had Cenk Uygur on the show yesterday, and he said, you know, the Republicans were claiming that when Trump's polling was good, it was great, but now that he's bad, it doesn't count anymore, and the polls are fake anyway. You know, make up your mind. And I am proud to say, from the get-go, I have been saying the polls are psychotic and make no sense. Now, in the beginning of Trump's second term, his aggregate polling was really good. And I said, that says something. When even the corporate press is giving him a positive approval rating. But hold on. It is absolutely insane when you look at all the different polls and one day Trump is up 9, the next day he's down 10. These polls clearly make no sense, and I've said it from the get-go. That being said, you can tell if Trump is down based on the movement of individual polls that you trust. So I will use Rasmussen as an example. They tend to be very accurate, and they did show a decline for Donald Trump in the month of April. Now, as of today, they have shown that it's recovered to about 51%. So Donald Trump has his moments. When the tariffs were enacted and 401ks were dropping, he went down. Rasmussen showed him -4. Now that the stock market is starting to rebound, he's going back up. Surprise, surprise. Does that mean he has general approval? Honestly, I don't know, but you can see the movement. That still is not impeachable. If Donald Trump was down 50 points, if he was literally at like 2% approval, not impeachable. So Carrie Lake comes in and she roasts this guy. And she's just like, I never even heard of you. As a congressman, the best part, I want to give a shout out to Carrie Lake, where she was like, are you from Michigan? Like, wait, you're a congressman from Michigan and you are against Trump's tariffs. Are going to bring back the auto industry. Good luck getting reelected. And it was fun because then Cenk Uygur said, Carrie, with all due respect, neither of us should be giving people advice on how to get elected because between the three of us, he's the only one who did. So I did thoroughly enjoy that. Now, I do want to clarify something. I tweeted this out. So when I was on the show, we got cut off. And the way it works is we connect, we go live. We've got multiple internet redundancies so we don't get dropped. And when we were on with Piers, what ended up happening was like at the very end of the show, like literally only minutes before the end, on our end, they pulled us out of the room. This is what it appeared to us. We got pulled out of the room and we saw their production screen and we couldn't hear or talk or anything. We were still connected, but it looks like on their end, they hit a button. So we sat for a little while. And then after a few minutes, I guess we're off. Okay, whatever. We'll see what happens. All in all, I thought it was a good show. Now, what I was told was They said that we had technical difficulties or something and we got dropped. I don't know about any of that. So I tweeted, no, they pulled us from the show. I'm not saying it was intentional, but that's what happened. That being said, let's actually go to the news. Who is this Shri Thanedar, and what is he saying? Let me play the clip for you. Oh, look, there's me.
All right. Doing this because you're a narcissist, basically.
He is,
well,
yes.
Look, in the first 100 days, his numbers are lower than any other president. You had to go back 70 years. And the only other bad numbers for a president in the first 100 days was Trump 45.
You can't impeach someone because the media says their approval is low, okay?
So people have spoken.
Is that why you're doing it?
People are having a buyer's remorse. People are, I've spoken to many of Trump's supporters, and they are hugely disappointed by his actions, by his failure to fix the economy. That's number one on people's minds.
Okay, Carrie, what's your response to the congressman? Because there are lots of people saying this, and the Democrats have got their gander up a bit now. They're beginning to marshal their so-called resistance in a better way because Trump.
Also, you can see me talking. I think they have me muted.
Trump's giving them
Probably a smart thing to do, completely honest, because I kept saying not impeachable.
To do that. At what point politically do you start feeling twitchy if the tariff war doesn't work how Trump intends it to?
First of all, where did this guy come from? No, with all due respect, this is an idiotic thing to do. And it's proving that the Democrat Party has no play. They don't know what to do right now because Trump is winning on everything. He's strategizing how to fix the economy that Joe Biden drove not only into a ditch, but off a cliff. And this is why the American people were suffering. And it sounds to me like this is a political move to try to put him in good graces with the AOC crowd and the very, very far left radical crowd ahead of another election. This is ridiculous. The American people were sick of the previous attempts of impeaching President Trump before. They don't want to see this again. And I'm embarrassed for this gentleman. I'm embarrassed for that congressman that he's doing that he's fallen to that level to try to impeach President Trump in his first 100 days as he tries to save us from the serious missteps of Joe Biden and that administration.
Agreed. I do think, I don't know if we can jump in. I don't know if Cenk jumps in at some point.
Well, look, he has failed on economy. In a world, our relationship with our allies.
He's not failed on the economy.
Not impeachable.
Not
impeachable.
I understand, but on day one, he said he's going to fix Ukraine war. He hasn't done that in 100 days. Nothing that he said he's going to do he has done. And, economy is in terrible shape. His tariffs are totally unproductive. And auto industry, I represent Detroit, Michigan. The auto industry is hurting. Auto workers are losing their jobs. Auto factories in America are closing. Look, this.
None of this is impeachable. None of what he's saying. He's basically saying, I noticed that there was a media trend against Trump, and I'm taking the opportunity to get attention for myself. It is pathetic. You know what I want to do? We did this last night on Timcast IRL. But I'm going to do it right now because I think it's worth showing. I'm going to pull up the YouTube channel for our good friend, David Pakman. David, let's see what insightful commentary you have to offer on your YouTube channel. Dude. Okay, here's the first one. We got press briefing. So not Trump. That's good. It's a good start. Trump is second. Trump. Okay, you get the point. Go to David Pakman's channel. He's got 3.16 million subscribers and 40,000 videos, and it's all just Donald Trump. To be fair, sometimes it's not. Here's RFK Jr., but about 90% of the video he makes, it's all just Donald Trump. You know what? Let's try this. I like this. Here's another big channel, Brian Tyler Cohen. Probably should just do a whole segment on this. Let's pull up his channel. That's right. Your name is Brian Tyler Cohen. And what is his channel? Cue the music. Trump. I'm sorry. That was Cory Booker. He's got a Cory Booker in there. Oh, and him. It's a police siren. Cory Booker grabs national headlines. It is all Donald Trump. To be fair, there's one or two that aren't. You know what? It goes on and on and on. This is the psychotic, deranged world these people live in, okay? Here is Shri Thanedar filing an impeachment for much the same reason as David Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen make insane videos about Trump and nothing else. At least Sam Seder talks about me. I can accept that. I'm a guy. Although I do think it's funny that Sam Seder gets more attention talking about me, and boy, does he, than talking about Trump, because Trump's substantially more famous. I'm going to briefly show this, but I think it does warrant a larger segment. Shri Thanedar said that he wants to impeach Trump for deporting a 2-year-old American citizen. Here's the story from NBC News. 2-year-old U.S. citizen apparently removed from the country with no meaningful process, judge says. The child's mother was being deported and wanted to take the girl, U.S. lawyer said. When the judge asked to speak with her, they were already in the air. Okay, we deported an illegal immigrant and said, my child can come with me. We said, okay. And that's it. The 2-year-old wasn't deported. They're lying. But here's where it gets better. Over at the New York Times, a mother and father were deported. What happened to their toddler? The Trump admin sent the mother of a 2-year-old to Venezuela and the father to a Salvadoran prison. Their daughter remains somewhere in the U.S. Okay, so if Trump doesn't send the child with them, it's a problem. And if he does send the child with them, it's a problem. The only answer they offer up is Trump, let all the illegal immigrants stay, let all the gang members stay, do nothing about it. For this, the actions that Trump has taken, which I've already shown you, no matter which way he goes, they're going to claim he did something wrong. He is being impeached by these scumbags who just want to scream, pick me. But I did enjoy hanging out with Piers. And I try to come on when I can. So shout out to Piers Morgan. It was a great show. And I think he does a pretty good job bringing these panels together. So I had a good time. And I appreciate the opportunity, sincerely, to actually challenge the congressman over what I believe is despicable. Despicable. But I'm going to wrap it up there, my friends. Stay tuned. Smash that like button. Share the show with everyone. You know, we got more segments coming up for you. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Thanks for hanging out. And we will see you all in the next segment.